ChrisDaGoat, he has a podcast, yeah. ChrisDaGoat, it's called The Goat Man Show. He's a Capricorn hippie, banjo-loving hillbilly. He lives in Missouri. It's The Goat Man Show, yeah.
What is going on, guys? This is ChrisDaGoat, and you are listening to The Goat Man Show. This is my pilot episode, so I think we're going to kick it off with something pretty controversial, which is what I want to do with the show anyway. Because I think there's too many safe spaces, there's not enough reality, and people create their own alternative universes so they feel comfortable and happy. And, although that may be productive for creativity, it's not productive for reality. And I feel like as far away as we push things outside of public view, we're never going to fix the root of the cause of the issues that we're facing, such as sexism, such as racism, such as hating a minority just based off of the way they look or a neighborhood they live in, whatever the case is. Instead we create so many subcategories of people so everybody can be accepted that we don't work on the core issues for the individuals who are being discriminated against and have been for centuries through slavery, through rape, through torture, through beatings, through human trade. I mean, there's so many issues that we're pushing away. And I feel like we need to get back to fixing a lot of what's going on. So, since we're not in the middle of doing that, and we're currently in a race war in America, I feel we're also in a political war. We're also in a constitutional war. There's a lot of things going on because people just want to have their own opinion and they want to do what they think is right. And nobody's willing to unify because of the way the media has put everything out there, and they have for years and years and years now. And I think that we're just now in a point where the people are starting to wake up. But instead of us pulling in so many fucking directions, we have to start working together or shit's never going to get done. That's just straight up how it is. So, one of my favorite rappers and musicians that I've listened to, he has mad skills. I've tried to reach out to the guy. He's really good. A lot of his music here lately is getting kudos of attention. Some good, some bad, of course. I agree with almost everything that I've heard him say, every line of his songs, even. Tom McDonald is who I'm talking about. He is a Canadian feller that is living in the U.S. Mad props to the dude, hella talented. He doesn't say anything that's not true. He doesn't say anything that's out of line. I feel like a lot of people hate his music because he's a white guy that's saying all these things. But the truth is, it's the shit that you guys have to hear and have to accept. That's exactly what I'm talking about whenever we're getting into this, oh, you have a safe space, or you create your own universe, or you create your own place to be, or you don't think anybody can hurt you and nobody can disagree with you or say anything else. And that's not the reality. I mean, that's not how the world works at all. And it's never going to work that way. So I think for today, we're going to start off with, as I said, obviously controversial matter. It's going to be Tom McDonald's newest song, No Lives Matter. And it is probably number one by the time of this recording. If not, it was number two just about a week ago. So I can guarantee it's probably surpassed it by now. Guy's hella talented. Like I said, I had no surprise that it has made it up there. A lot of people that I know personally have listened to it repetitively. And, again, can't find really a flaw in the message. So what I feel like we're going to be doing is listen to it, and I'm going to stop it every now and then just to kind of review just a little bit on what he's talking about and talk about, some of the specifics on it, because I feel like when people first listen to this, they're and listen to it on your own, because this isn't going to be the best recording or time for you to really sit there and enjoy it as much as you should. You should listen to it multiple times, as any song that's controversial, so you can really digest the message, give the artist, the credit for what they do and what they have done, and really understand what they're trying to say before you just come out and make an assumption on them and try to spread hate or falsities and create more of an issue in the current world that we're in. So we're going to go ahead and get started with this. I'm going to play this, and then we're going to stop it after a few and talk a little bit about what is going on. This is the full version, so we got to listen to the intro as well.
Hip-hop diet is full of guys who cannot even rap. Media dividing us by colors, white or black. If you believe in Jesus, these days Christians get attacked. If you don't hate police, then everybody thinks you're whack. And everything's so connected. Black Lives Matter got so aggressive. White folks who agree can't support the message. Both sides go to war because they don't respect it.
Okay, that's a good point right there. Black Lives Matter got so aggressive that we went to war because we can't, understand each other on that, and that makes sense. I understand completely the anger that especially Black people had to have felt, each time that an innocent Black person or a Black person in general was put to excessive and unnecessary police brutality, especially that of another race. I can completely, understand and sympathize exactly where that anger and where that need for equality and revenge almost even comes into play. Uh, but I think that we can all agree that there has been, as well as any protest or demonstration, excessivities. That's my own word there. That's not real. Everything in excess is provided to the people that want to go on the far right or far left. Far extreme on one side or the other, and they are the ones that create a lot of problems for an overall movement. So if you have far right people, if we're going to talk politics because that's going to be how everybody compares it, which is fucking stupid anyway, but we'll play along. Everybody on the far right, far right, extreme, anarchists. The government has no say in my life whatsoever. I'm a free person. We start getting into those kinds of things. That's bad. That's a bad thing, in my opinion. Not that my opinion matters, but fuck it, let's roll with it. Everything on the far right is bad. No government control at all. Everything on the far left is also bad because that's excessive human control. That's or human control, government control over humans. That's total control. That's Nazi Germany. When we want to use that word, because I'm not afraid to. It's We can't continue to look at an entire movement like that. But the media is the devil because the media is continuously bringing it up and putting a spin on things. So whenever they give you a certain way to look at something and a certain vision, then that's where people are going to formulate their opinions without doing it on their own time and their own brain, as they should be anyway.
Turn to total violence and a whole depression. We could unify and then I'll go against them, but we let them divide us with votes and elections. Hey, the music we bump, all about shooting guns and doing drugs. Hey, whoa, the things that we want are promoted subliminally through the songs, like you need a fast car, you need designer clothes, you need a rap star to tell you to stop popping pills, hit the blunt, and go live at the club to your bro. It's all controlled by the elites.
It's all controlled by the elites. So that's a whole nother thing right there. A lot of people don't necessarily believe in the Rockefellers and the Rothschilds and the Royals and all the big families that, and there's a few because, it's still 1%, but it's an elite group of families that hoard most of the tangible and non-tangible assets that people have access to. So they can control where's impoverished or, where impoverished nations and countries and areas and parts of the world are. They can control where rich and prosperous areas of the world are. They can definitely influence absolutely anything you can wrap your head around. I feel like that's been proven, even though it's kind of confusing on if it's actually the Illuminati, which what a lot of people call them. But they are definitely in control of a lot of sick things and have been for a long, long time. And I think that if you do just a slight amount of research, you're going to find credible sources that can provide you all the details you need on that. It's all part of a global plan for control. We are merely just humans on a farm. We work. That's us being farmed. We pay taxes. We basically work our lives away so we can continue to pay taxes and fund the elite rich. So it's all a game to them. The music industry is controlled. Hollywood's controlled. TVs are controlled. Major mainstream news outlets and agencies are controlled. I mean, anything that we have access to that's not an individual person like me or you, that's all controlled, monitored, and completely manipulated by the elite.
Fake news all over our screens, convincing the right to go fight with the left and distract from the fact it's each other we need. Divided by race and religion, segregated into teams. You're a white supremacist. If you're not, I guess you Antifa.
All right. So exactly, we have to be on the right or the left, Republican or Democrat. That's why I said earlier we'll get, we'll just go with it. Of course, I think that's flawed, just like anything else. We're having Hatfields and McCoys. You're either on one side or the other. It's not really permissible to be in the middle. People don't want somebody on a. You can't be neutral on a moving train. So you have to pick something, and I feel like that's where we have a lot of our issue. Is you don't have to belong to a political affiliation to have a brain to think for yourself. You don't have to, So I don't fully understand where most people, whenever they are a radical right or left supporter, they're not open to listening to ideas and working to find the very best policies for everybody. I think that's fairly common sense, but there's always going to be people that don't see it that way. So we're going to run into the issue. There's always going to be that division, and that's because the media wants it. That's because the movie stars and the elite uh, idols, all of your famous, super famous musicians and actors and comedians and stuff, when they all come out and start putting those political opinions on the table, you can very well notice nowadays, if you open your eyes, they're all saying basically the same thing. It's all a product of the elite because they don't want influencing for something that would get them in a position where it's unfavorable for them and not for us.
Screaming from the rooftops, beat down better. Turn us on each other now, no lives matter. If we do what the news wants, blood gon' splatter. Turn us on each other till no lives matter.
So he's not saying that no lives matter. What he's saying is the media is going to continue to mash us together and make us fight until we can no longer have any pride or honor in who we are or what we are or where we came from or our people or our cultures. And that's anybody in America, because I think that's where the biggest thing is happening. Racism's worldwide. It's not an American problem. This kind of crazy bullshit that we're going through right now, that's a big American problem. I know it's other places, but dude, this fucking crazy. It's insane what we're going through right now. I don't understand it. I almost can't believe it. So it's all lives matter, and they're going to continue to spread the fake news and continue to put you in a state of ignorance where you feel that by you saying, "Oh, I support whatever movement," that you're actually doing good. Hashtags aren't going to do shit for you. All right, getting on the camera on TikTok and talking about how you don't want to hear Happy 4th of July. You want to hear Happy America or Happy World Day or Happy People Day. That shit's no. We have to have pride in ourselves as Americans and respect for each other as humans. Until those two things are fixed, it's not going to get any better in this country. And if you don't have pride in America, find the fucking door. Because this is a country founded on a lot of resistance from the British control. It was tyrannical. America is not perfect. There's a lot of things on our past that's not perfect. A lot of people are going to sit there and tear apart saying, "Oh, he says he supports racism." That's bullshit. You're putting words out that you haven't heard because you just want to join to be the popular voice. This country was founded on blood, sweat, and tears. It was on sacrifice. It was on the hope for a better life for people in the future and the present at that time, and for us today when it was outlined. And if you can't understand and respect that, you need to go find a country where culture you can, because if you're going to continue to try to destroy it from the inside for no reason, you're nothing but a domestic terrorist. And that's not a race statement. That's anybody. I'm a white guy saying that. If another white guy came up and decided he was going to try to overthrow the political system and the government and take it over, be the same exact example for him. I don't care. It does not matter to me. The problem is when you're against the Constitution and against the country that people have fought for and died and sacrificed everything for, and you can't appreciate that. I don't feel you should have a say in how the political spectrum continues to run, because you're not being a contributing, supportive cog in the machine that is America, the best country in the world.
Freedom's dead. If you have an opinion, take it back. People hate the president. If you don't, then you trash. Indoctrinate the nation using news and mainstream rap. The government abuses us. It's all part of the plan. And it's so confusing. Black Lives Matter is a valuable movement, but all lives matter ain't racist or stupid. It's non-black humans who don't feel included. All colors fall under laws that govern the whole country, and we all suffer. We're all broke, and nobody recovers until we accept that we're all brothers.
All right. That's exactly right. So, the government's not perfect, but we do have a change right now, personally, that I feel is doing a very good job. And, there's a lot of purging that needs to get done, but the way the government in the United States is set up, it can and will be prosperous again one day. I just don't believe that any radical takeover of anything is the way to go. We seem to be handling it very well through politics, especially when we call things out and we see it. We are all each other's brothers and sisters. We are all Americans and humans, and we have to join together. We have to quit separating ourselves by race. If you're black, you can be happy, proud, and supportive, and prideful of your culture and your people and your appearance, or whatever it is specifically that you want to be proud of. That's the beauty of America. The same for Latinos, the same for Asians, the same for Middle Eastern. It doesn't matter who or where or what. In America, you have the right to celebrate yourself and your religion and your beliefs. And any group or person that tries to stop that, regardless of what they say their core message is not for that. So you have to honestly ask yourself, what and who is trying to stop me from being me? And whenever you find that, you'll find who the true enemy is. And I don't think people think of it that way. I really don't. I think they're so convinced that so many people are out to get them that it's you're playing a damsel in distress a lot of the time. And a lot of people are guilty of it. I've done it in times in my life. I think anybody can say they have. But you have to get out of that position, and you have to find the strength to stand up and say, my life is my choice. And yes, there may be misfortunes in the country, but we have to bond together and be smart and stand up for it and do it the right way so that we can make a legitimate, long-lasting, and impressionable change. That's the way I think, honestly, that we're only going to find the way to success in the future, to get away from the unfortunate racism division that the news has put us in again.
Music we make, all about big booties and getting paid. Hey, whoa. We watch the news and it fills up our brains with violence and riots and race. Like, this is a race war. You need to hate more. Get what you came for. You need some songs about Xanax and violence so you can escape more. What a vicious...
That's true. Think about how many times that some revelations have came out that's a good thing, and then the media still wants to try to get together and push us apart again. It's we have to have progress, and we have to quit going back. We have to quit always feasting on the past and move forward, or we're never going to have a future. And I think that's fairly obvious, because we're always going to have division. So I understand the past where there has been division, but why does there have to be division in the future? We're only going to have that if we continue to make it.
Race, like, this is a race war. You need to hate more. Get what you came for. You need some songs about Xanax and violence so you can escape more. What a vicious cycle we can break away from. They control the culture, they control the paper. They're indoctrinating a whole generation till the patriots start to hate the nation. The music we love make us dumb and addicted. The news that we watch is brainwashing the children. The viruses, riots, and racist conditions ain't problems. They're symptoms of life in the system.
That's very true. Racism isn't something you're born with. It's something that you're taught. It's something that you're influenced to have. So as the media continues to glorify these things, continues to encourage it in a sense, you're going to continue to see those in areas and places you never have before. And the media is the gigantic player in the whole issue in the country. That's the machine that continues to feed it to average people.
Screaming from the rooftops, beat down better. Turn us on each other now, no lives matter. If we do what the news wants, blood don't splatter. Turn us on each other till no lives matter. The music will make you dumb. The media makes you hate. And they control them both. There ain't no escape. They put the world in a state of chaos. Economy crashing and massive layoffs. Black against white, or it's left versus right. Divide and conquer and control is the payoff. Screaming from the rooftops, beat down better. Turn us us on each other now, no lives matter. If we do what the news wants, blood gon' splatter. Turn us on each other till no lives matter.
You know, that's the truth. You know, that's the truth, man. He spoke the truth to us all, guys. It's factual. It's something crazy. It's something like we're not going to see, you know, for a long, long time, is peace and unity together. We're not going to see a country where we work together. As long as the media continues to have control and we continue to let it, then we're going to run into major issues. And I feel that the more division we cause by having more and more and more different kinds of groups and types, and you know, I'm not saying we all need to be one person, but we need to find common ground on movements that we can all push together for the true equality, to stop the racism and honestly stop assumptions. Assumptions is exactly what causes all these problems. People don't take time to get to know anybody. They just assume what they are by their looks or their preferences or their beliefs. They don't give them, you know, a chance to really listen. I can't tell you how many people probably listened to this very first, you know, part of the episode and have already gotten hella pissed and fucking raged out and Karen'd and Davided. And it's nuts. It's crazy the kind of world we live in anymore, where people feel so offended because somebody else has an opinion. There's something else he said in there too that was really, really good. People want to shut down with cancel culture. Cancel culture is a literal cancer to the world. Cancel culture was used by the Nazis with the book burning to get rid of any other culture of the Jewish inhabitants in Germany at the time. It's a good example. And now people are doing it digitally. Companies are doing it digitally. They're getting rid of anything they don't agree with. And we're treading on very, very, very dangerous territory. So when we come back, we're going to talk about the cancel culture, which is going to be the next controversial subject. But again, I feel like it's something we have to talk about because we are in a whole different world that's going to end if we don't pull our heads out of our asses very soon.
Chris will be right back. He's having some issues. You're about to listen to ChrisDaGoat's podcast. Now I'm just some random girl he hired off Fiverr, and from what I gather, he is f***ing weird. Enjoy!
All right, guys, we are back. This is ChrisDaGoat, and you are listening to The Goat Man Show. So right before the break, we had discussed how we're going to get into cancel culture, and I feel like it's a good time to do it. So the biggest thing I want to point out whenever we get into this is how a lot of people who get offended, instead of them having a legitimate, real conversation with somebody, the very first thing that they want to do is cancel something, delete it, burn it, ban it. It never happened. You wipe it off the face of the earth. And, you know, as that may make you feel better, that's not going to be beneficial for history. So we're going to have a small history lesson because I am tired of hearing about how one color or another color is to be considered a modern day Nazi. So I'm going to give you guys a definition on what real Nazis are and what they did and what is going on today and how you're actually using socialist techniques. So we're going to talk about the SA. The SA is basically a group that supported Hitler. It was a Nazi party. They're called the Brown Shirts. They're called stormtroopers, stormtrooping. However you want to look at it, however you want to go about looking them up yourself. Either of those is going to get you to where you need to go. So they were founded in Munich in 1921. So this is whenever Hitler was trying to get a position of power. So it was made up largely of ex-soldiers that were veterans of World War I who were really upset that Germany had to come forward and basically give up the war. They had to surrender. They had to basically admit defeat, and that was a huge hit to the country. So what the Brown Shirts did is they had a ideal of change. They had an idea that there's a whole bunch of people all over the country that are restricting the rights and the pursuits of the Germans. So what they did is they would go around to different political uh, conventions, different organizations, different activities, speeches, seminars, whatever it would be. And they would go in there and they would start whooping the shit out of everybody. I mean, they would go in there, they would tear down banners, they would go cause issues, stand in the back of the room and stare people down. They would do all these horrible things so that they would eliminate the competition for Adolf Hitler, so that his views and his ideas would be supreme and people would be intimidated to the point that they would be afraid to speak out. So basically, you're going to divide and conquer through fear and intimidation. So when we look at today, on the very far, far left of things, we see people who, whenever they come up with something they don't like, they want to scream cancel culture. So whenever you see something that's upsetting, you rather it be deleted and wiped away from the face of the earth and history. And somehow that makes you feel better. Like, what exactly is that going to do for your children? Here's the biggest fucking problem I have with this. All right, I'm just going to straight out say it. You're going to come out and say that white people are Nazis. You're going to come out and say that people who currently support the President of the United States, Donald J. Trump, are Nazis. You're going to say that anybody who cares about the country, that wants to see it prosper, that wants to see their neighbors taken care of, that wants to see minorities have equal chances, that wants to see, the things go in the way that we're having things go now in America, you're going to call those people Nazis. And I feel that it's all just a big old sham. It's cancel culture because you are offended because the president is who he is for whatever reason, and it could be any number of things you pick apart, just like any other president. We could find anything on anybody, guaranteed, within 20 seconds. How are you going to be so upset that you're going to go around and call people Nazis when what you're doing is exactly, and listen to this, exactly what they did? So they would go and they would intimidate. They would go and they would cause giant fights in the streets, brawls. They would use force and intimidation against the political opponents of Adolf, on the communist representatives, or anybody that wasn't into a stronger, unified, pristine, prime Germany. So that's exactly what's going on today. You guys are saying that we are the Nazis, the people who aren't into the woke culture, but the techniques that you're using is pre-World War II. It's insane. It blows my mind. So the brown shirts ended up reaching 400,000 by 1932. And it's arguable that it could have been 2 million to 4 million by the time Hitler came to power in 1933. So they were just a group that was separate from Hitler at the time, who operated independently. And their whole thing was, we need to make sure that nobody stands in the way of what we're doing. If anybody speaks up, we're going to shut them down. We're going to mark minority-owned businesses, and we're going to say that you shouldn't shop there. They're going to cause physical violence on businesses or homes of people of different colors or religions. They would burn down parts of the city that were Jewish-owned. I mean, it's disgusting, the things that have happened in the past. And we are not entirely to the same exact situation, but we have had a lot of that happen here. I mean, we have had riots that have burnt down large numbers of businesses of people that are innocent, have nothing to do with anything, all for the name of a political movement to instill fear and remembrance of the name of a movement. I mean, that's exactly what's happened in Nazi Germany. So the point of all this rambling, is y'all got to quit using the word Nazi as loose as you do, because when you come down to it, what you're doing is exactly what you're saying everybody else is. And that's not okay, because you are being hella stupid for sitting there and telling us that we're the ones that need to be, silenced and questioned and all this and that. But you're the ones that are going around causing fear and intimidation in everybody. So one other thing that was very important the Nazis did was book burnings. Book burnings got rid of any opposition. They got rid of any uh, alternative opinions to the Reich. It also basically made it to where any literature or religious articles or opinions or newspapers, anything that was against Nazism, it was destroyed, and it was discredited, and it was publicly basically torn apart. Cancel culture. So anything that they don't agree with, anything that stands against the new way that the country was wanting to go, got burned. So that way people don't have an idea for what the past was. That's where we're at today in America. How the fuck do you not see this? You guys are doing exactly what the brown shirts did. You're going around, you're upset because something doesn't sit right with you. It doesn't impact anything going on in your life for the most part. It's just, oh, somebody that might be offended, or oh, I'm going to be a white apologist, and I'm going to get on my hands and knees and crawl around for the rest of my life because I'm privileged because of my skin color. So whenever I go around and I take on all these movements for all these different people, that makes me feel more of a person because I'm actually doing something with my life. That's bullshit. There's no reason why white people can't sympathize with any other color based off of the discrimination they currently have in today's society. But there's no need for any person or any race or color to damn their own color and people just based off of what the media is trying to tell you. There's no reason why we can't be proud of who we are. There's no reason why we can't be happy with our family, who we came from, where we came from, what we look like, what we like to eat, anything. I mean, that's what makes the world so beautiful, is you can go to America and you can see so many different dresses, so many different foods, so many different ways of arts. I mean, it's beautiful. It's beautiful for us to have exposure to the world and to see all the different cultures. I guarantee everybody likes tacos. I guarantee everybody likes spaghetti. I guarantee everybody likes different foods from around the world. And you wouldn't be as open to that culturally if we didn't have, a culture appropriation. So I don't think that a lot of what people are saying is accurate. I think it's just like a temper tantrum. And that's exactly what it is. The woke movement is a temper tantrum. If you're not going to listen to me, you told me no, I really, really want this, or I really, really want to do it, but I was told no. So I'm going to scream and yell as loud as possible and destroy everything that I can. That's exactly what it is. And I hate to break it to you, but contradictions don't work very well in constitutionality. And here's where that messes up for you guys. So anybody that looks at anybody, white people, black people, whatever color, I'm so tired of using divisions like that. We're humans. We're humans. So anybody that has a problem with a human are going to do some very, very horrible, insatiable things to try to get them to side with you or to make them feel fear. We're not supporting one another. We are constantly trying to make people change because it's something we fear. So if you're one of these people, especially white people that have hijacked the movement, anything upsets you. I mean, people are getting triggered over piñatas. People are getting triggered over Trader Joe. Trader Joe's has a subcategory called Trader Jose's. There's a 70-pound quote unquote racist boulder. I think it's the University of Wisconsin, if I'm not mistaken. I may not have the state right. People, if you have to dig that deep to be offended, you're literally trying to find acceptance in your movement. Racism is alive and well in the world. It happened before the country was founded. It'll happen after other countries are founded. It happened since long before we can remember. There's been concades and armadas and just huge global conflicts so much throughout history based off of religion, based off of color, based off of culture. I mean, it's gone on and on and on and on. So you're going to continue to find a way to continue to spread that. Where I think we're in a place now where we're educated enough and have been exposed to enough people to where we should all understand we all bleed red and we're all human beings. I'm gonna disagree with any person that listens or wants to chime in that says, "Oh, I don't have a right to talk because I'm a white male. Oh, I don't have a right to feel because I'm a white male. Oh, I don't have a right to do whatever because I'm a white male." Because you are a piece of fucking trash. You are racist. You are racist. If you're going to sit there and say that because I'm white, I can't do this or that, that is just as racist as me if I were to say, oh, because you're this color or that color, you can't do something. You would lose your fucking minds. But you want to sit and tell white people they don't have a voice, they don't have an opinion, they don't have a right. That's not fair. You can't be hypocritical in the Constitution. If I have to be respectful and listen to everybody and I can't stop you or shut you down, it should be the exact same way for me. I should have the same right. But it doesn't work that way because you want to scream racial appropriation or sexism or transphobia or whatever the case may be. And instead of you giving a chance in an open forum to people, you continuously cause issues and continuously make assumptions and just try to ruin their life and destroy it because you fear what they could be possible of. And instead of people working together, especially with somebody that could be powerful in certain aspects or degrees with a movement, their first instinct is to throw it away and run away. That makes no sense to me, but it makes sense to them apparently. So I think the next biggest thing I have to get off my chest whenever it's getting into all this social equality kind of thing. Who the hell gives you the right to be so offended about everything? I mean, why are we in the middle of cancel culture? I've kind of explained to you in a way that people who are into cancel culture are like the brown shirts. They're exactly like the Nazis. They're using themselves as a political tool to go and silence any opposition so that their movement seems supreme and so they can intimidate and they can scare people into not following through with other aspects, other angles. And I don't agree with that at all. I really don't. I think that's a really fucked up way to go about it. If your business or your idea or your whatever is not good enough that it automatically picks up the support of people, then you really need to reevaluate what you're doing because chances are you're not doing something that you should be doing or something that's going to be beneficial to the people. Because if they're not going to support you right off the bat, then there's other things you need to do with yourself. So I don't understand for sure how you have the right to say what you want and I'm supposed to sit there and just take it and accept it and roll over in my grave. That's not going to happen. Whites have to be the same as blacks, have to be the same as browns, have to be the same as lights, has to be the same as darks. It doesn't matter whoever, whatever. We're all human beings. We all have to get treated with that same respect. If we continue to subdivide ourselves, all we're going to do is cause issues. We're all brothers and sisters. We are going, well, not all of us. God's plan, this is a Mises quote. Well, subquote. It's kind of paraphrase. God's plan was for us all to live together in harmony, peacefully. We see things on Earth here as humans that we cause issues, we cause wars, we cause disagreements. But when it's all said and done, we're all going to be together, mingling and meshing, and the color's not going to matter. You have to get to know somebody, not what they look like. You have to get to know somebody and not just what they look like. Whenever you go off what somebody looks like, you're going to be a super stupid looking jackass. So I have a story. This isn't really a bitching thing. This is a true thing of cancel culture, which is why I'm so against it. So myself and a friend, as two white males, we tried to organize a police department protest, peaceful protest for police brutality, nothing else. It wasn't in the name of Black Lives Matter. It wasn't in the name of anything. It was literally just supposed to be so whoever wanted to join us to talk about police brutality had the right to do so. Me being me. I mean, I'm a German white guy. I'm an American, but I have a European background. I'm sarcastic. I love to have fun. I'm just an average going guy. I work customer service, even though you couldn't tell with this shit. And I just live life to do what I want to do. But whenever I try to stand up and make a change or speak my opinion, I got shut down by a local chapter of Black Lives Matter because they did not endorse what I was doing. And I had a problem with it right there. You know, I don't have to go through any other organization to fulfill my First Amendment rights, nor do you. You know, so I had all these woke chicks on Facebook that were slamming me. I mean, I got some German tattoos. I got some German writing on my body. I don't have any SS bolts. I don't have any SA insignia. I don't have swastikas. I'm not a Nazi. And I'm going to explain that part here in just a minute. But they were so fucking convinced that I was a Klan leader. I was I was a member of the Boogaloo Boys. I was a member of the Proud Boys. I was a main leader in the air. It was amazing, the shit that they come up with. And what blows me away is this woke stuff. Is they will look at you and say, "Oh, I have an expert. I have an expert's opinion. It's a written, verified expert's opinion that your tattoos are Nazis related." Well, bullshit. Because I asked people multiple times. I said, "Give me a piece of proof, something I've signed, something that shows that I've been in a meeting. Show me a picture with me, you know, dressed as blackface, or show me a picture as me dressed in a Klan's hood at a meeting, burning a cross. Anything." Not a single one of these motherfucking stupid asses could produce a single shred of evidence, because their whole objective is, as soon as they see, oh God, a white guy wants to start a protest, and that's got to be a setup. We're all going to get slaughtered, or they're going to try to arrest us all. It's all fear. I mean, for fuck's sake, out of probably 75 woke idiots in the area that decided to come and slander and just go on a rampage, not even have messaged or called or visited or nothing with me, nothing. They decided that I was a Nazi and all these other things because I have ties to a militia. Then I was automatically a far right militia member with the Boogaloo Boys. As soon as they found out that I had Iron Cross tattoos, then I was a member of the Proud Boys. It's amazing. You know, it did shut me off Facebook for a while. You know, it did fuck with me because I had to go to my primary job and let them know about it. You know, I mean, there's just a lot of accusations and stuff in this world you can't do, because that's going to get somebody hurt. That's going to get somebody hurt in a really bad way. The moral of the story is they thought they were going to shut me down because they feared it. They've never heard of me. I didn't have any endorsement by anybody else, but oh God, here's some random white boy that's ready to come up, make a stand, and go talk to the police department. So they spread every rumor that they could that I was everything evil. Don't show up. He's going to get you murdered. He's going to get you abused. He doesn't support white or black rights. He doesn't support this, that, and the other. It was a mess for a while. I ended up canceling and not going due to the safety of the event organizers, because we felt there was some credibility behind some of the threats and stuff that had happened to me after the fact. But in the celebration of woke culture, where once the goat man is silenced, he will publish himself on multiple websites with a podcast, speaking out against it. Fuck you all for accusing anybody of being whatever, whether they're racist, intolerant, putting tarnish on their lives for no reason, because you are offended, because you are scared. Get to fucking know people. You don't get to know anybody, you're going to try to ruin something that could be the best thing for your movement. You know how much passion it takes to get back on your feet after something like that? And here we are on a podcast getting broadcast all over. I hope this is a lesson that just because you stop them doesn't mean that you've permanently stopped them. We'll be right back, guys.
All right, folks, we're going to take a quick break to digest whatever that was. And we're back. Chris is done headbutting his studio wall to establish his dominance.
All right, break is over. Goat Man back. So we're going to finish up today. We're just going to go over, everything that we've talked about. Between Tom McDonald and cancel culture and the brown shirts, I mean, it's been an interesting first episode. The moral of the story to everything today: I love you all. You all should love everybody else too. We should all be banjo-loving hillbillies. God honest truth. Oh, man. People get so scared. The media pushes fear. The media pushes fear. Oh, the blacks need to fear police. Whites need to fear the blacks. Browns need to fear the whites. I mean, they've created so many different sub fears that, we're not in a world, we're not in an uncivilized country. I mean, we don't have lynchings, we don't have mass executions and mass graves of people because of their color or their religion, and we need to focus on the issues that we do have problems with. Um, we need to invest money into the ghettos, the impoverished parts of the countries. We need to get Flint, Michigan some clean water. We need to take care of places that may not have the economic opportunity based off of whatever reason. We need to fix people's access to healthcare, to food, to water, to work. There's so many things we need to work on, and it's not just for any race. It's all Americans. I mean, we got to stop the race shit. That's the problem. Fear and racism are the two things that's going to kill us. As long as the media has control, for the average person that's going to be sitting at home when they get off work, they turn on the TV, and they just sit there and absorb. They're ignorant. Okay, and I don't mean that, in a hateful way, but they're ignorant in the fact they don't dig deep enough to understand anything. They go off what Fox or CNN tells them. Oh, this is what's going on. This is what we have to worry about, and you can't, because that doesn't have the reality to it. The reality is you are getting fed whatever it is that the agenda wants to push to make their job so much easier that they don't have to do much. So whatever they say something, most people just believe it. I mean, look where we are. 2020 elections, we're in the middle of it. We got Joseph Biden and Donald Trump. And we are in a historical fucking election mess right now. They're doing recounts. They got judges overseeing recounts. I mean, there's lawsuits going on. There's been some election fraud in this country. And it's finally time that a president stepped forward. The media has tried to say, oh, well, you're going to tarnish the reputation of the integrity of the democracy in America. This dude's challenging the fact that there are problems with it. Obviously, there is something to be worried about if there's this much stuff that can happen off the radar and these many fucking miscounts that can happen in the middle of the night. I mean, that's where we're at right now, is he has the right to go forward and to check all these things, because our country is fucked. Our country is corrupt and crooked. They're trying to get, one political party in office instead of the other because it's not going to follow an agenda. We need a government that doesn't have an agenda. Okay? We need a government that's not a two-party. We don't need to either say, oh, I'm blue or I'm red. No, I'm for the people. So we need somebody up there that's going to make decisions for the people. Stop the racism. Stop feeding into it. The media is always going to have it. The media is always going to continue on with it. People, you have to fucking wake up and realize white people as a whole are not racist. Black people as a whole are not racist. People in general as a whole are not racist. There is always going to be extremes on the left and to the right, of course, always. But as a bulk majority, you're talking civilization, they're not intolerant. And if you come across somebody that's intolerant, I understand, trust me. As a white male in 2020, I'm not bitching about it, but I mean, anymore, all whites are racist. No white has the right to say anything. And most white women are either part of the woke movement or they're hated for it because they're racist. I mean, it doesn't matter how you do it if you don't submit to somebody racist if you're white anymore. That's where it's at, and I don't care. It doesn't bother me because I understand it's just people that are in fear. They're in limbo because there's so much fear the media continues to push. The only objective that can give them any relief is for them to plan to hate and for them to listen to it. The only solution is hatred. It's not a good solution, but that's what the media has instilled in everybody, because they feel if they're able to control everybody by paranoia and fear and false information, they can push whatever narrative whenever they want to, and people are going to have no choice but to follow it because they're going to have no reason to doubt it. I think it should go up and hug a Nazi. If you're at a demonstration and you see a far right, extremist, whatever it is, if you're a white man and you see Black Lives Matter, I think it's important for you just to have dialogue, discuss with people. The problem is we're so afraid that we won't be face to face in the same room or on the phone or even an email, kind of like in my situation we talked about the last segment. Whenever I was accused of being a Klans member, a leader of the Klan, nobody bothered to meet. Well, one member of Black Lives Matter here did meet with me. We did go to a restaurant and had a drink and we discussed kind of the misunderstandings that had happened. That was the only person that gave me the credibility, the time of day. Nobody else emailed, nobody else texted, nobody else did any of this stuff. That was the difference, is some people out there still see humanity and they want to know who people are. They want to understand who they are. And if they're afraid, they need to be educated on who they can trust and who they can't. Every black person I come in contact with, I don't think none of them are going to kill me just because I'm white and they're afraid I'm going to kill them. I feel like if we keep listening to the media, that's going to be the route we go. But as of right now, we're not in that situation. And I'm not that kind of a person who would sit by and idly allow us to get to that situation. I think anybody that looks back at history, especially the brown shirts, will realize people will go to unfathomable stretches and lengths to make sure their visions stay shiny, to make sure their words are heard, to make sure their political objectives are seen out until the end. And as humanity and humans, we have to really stop and think, is that what we want to be involved with? Is that something worth the pride or whatever it is of the country? Well, of course, in Germany, that's how they got them in World War II. World War I, they just got knocked out. Really bad military, really bad funds. I mean, just a bad morale all throughout the country. So the biggest thing that they promised is, man, we're going to come back bigger. We're going to come back better, more understanding, a stronger people. Now, of course, theirs wasn't so much focused on racism, but in our country, in America, it is. It really, really is. People are so upset. Okay, we have had a lot of white cops that have killed black people. I understand that. We don't need to defund every police department. What we do need is, obviously, revisions. We need more training. We need to make sure that there is either body cams or accountability for our police officers. We need to make sure that there is some kind of punishment system to where if police officers are found to do anything that abuses power, they don't get a paid vacation. They start actually having something that's going to suck, that makes them think about what they're doing before they do it. Because there are certain jobs, I feel, where you can have leniencies that you shouldn't have, that, especially being a police officer, for one. Most of any of the issues that I've ever seen, they get paid administrative leave, and that's bullshit. If you're being accused of manslaughter, I don't think you need to consider it a vacation. I think you should sit in the jail cell the same as anybody else who's accused of manslaughter until you're proven innocent. That's another thing. I like that word, innocence. The woke movement needs to stop. Stop proving everyone guilty before innocent. That's not how it works. We're all innocent until proven guilty. That's one thing I get really tired of, is people always want to just assume, oh, I have an expert that knows about whatever it is and they certify that your tattoo is racist, or I have an expert as a friend that's looked up your tattoo and the font is racist. And I'm like, bitch, shut the fuck up. They're talking about a tattoo I have on my shoulder. It's Blood and Honor, but it's in Celtic font. So they're telling me that the German font itself gives away that it's racist. It's fucking Celtic. It's Irish. It's stupid. That's just ignorance, man. People ignorantly look up something on the internet. Oh, let's look up Nazis. And they see a couple pictures. And then they see one possible definition on what it is. Probably some website that's not even fucking credible in the first place. And then they run with it. Then they lie through their ass and say they have these experts. I hate to break it to you, but if your experts are that intelligent, we're in a world of shit if one of you ever gets elected president. It's going to be worse than Biden. It's going to be so much worse. Oh, guys. It's been a good episode. It's been a good day. Got a lot of heavy stuff off, a lot of heavy stuff out there. I think a lot of people are going to really be interested. I know I pissed a lot of you off. I hope that you've given me the chance to really listen to the things I'm saying, and research. One of the biggest, hugest, most important things that I want to do on this show is I want you to not believe things that I'm saying. I want to piss you off. I want to make you mad. I'm going to make you spit fire. I'm going to make you squinting at me. I'm going to make you say such harsh, evil things online that it ultimately makes me laugh. And the reason why I want to do that, it sounds a little sadistic, I know. You need to learn. You need to be prompted into research. You need to get out of your comfort zone, and you need to be challenged. And until you do that, you're not going to go through real research and understand what people are saying. Most people have never heard of the Nazi brown shirts. Look them up. Look up what did the Nazi brown shirts do, and it will blow your mind. What they do and what they are or have done is exactly what the woke movement is doing, plans to do, and will do. I mean, it's the same exact thing because history, as we've all heard, is starting to repeat itself. One opinion I do want to have is a little random here. We're talking about cancel culture earlier and tearing down Civil War statues or anything, trying to get rid of a 70-pound boulder that was called a racist term back in the 20s. So nowadays it's still, it causes problems with people learning so much that they have to have it taken down and cost over, I think it was some $300 million to remove this thing. Yeah, you're fucking $300 million to remove a fucking rock because it upsets you. I mean, come on, guys. We got kids in Flint, Michigan that are still drinking lead water. We have kids in the ghettos in Chicago, in Detroit, and all these major, major places that probably don't get food. Why the fuck aren't we worried about real issues? If you want to support the lives of the impoverished, fucking support the lives of the impoverished. Don't sit there and do it for a political view. Don't do it for peer pressure. Don't do it to make yourself popular in your community. Go out and do some fucking missionary work. Go out and actually put your feet down and go help out the people that need the help. Instead, you want to go around and demonize different races, preaching unity. How does that work? Oh, you're white. You don't have the right to talk because you don't want us all to be together. We all have the same voice and the same rights. By you pinning down any color, not wanting them to talk, it's not productive. It's not going to fly. It's not going to make the situation work. It's not going to make things any better. I hate to break it to you, but that's fucking ignorant. Anybody that believes that you shutting me up is going to make equality is stupid. Equality means we need to eliminate fear, bias, assumptions, and we need to have an open, safe dialogue. I don't mean a safe space. I mean, there should be a place, kind of like this show. If anybody were to make a recording, which I'll get into that later on, if anybody were to make a recording, or if anybody were to, send me some hate mail or whatever the case may be, I'm not going to attack you right off the bat. I'm going to see what you're saying and try to digest it and come back with an intelligent, well-constructed response that will prompt you to do some research. That doesn't happen today. People act like toddlers, and I know you are, but what am I? And they just start throwing out ignorant, stupid shit. As soon as you start saying something they don't want to hear, there's videos of people that are screaming and yelling and cussing in people's faces, just like at a peaceful protest where they're not allowed to speak. That's fucking wild, though. And I don't understand that at all. How are you going to sit there and say we all need to have a dialogue and we all need to understand each other, and then you refuse to let people talk? So, for example, the Goat Man Show. I want to have everybody on here. I want people of different sexual preferences, religious preferences. I want extreme body modification people. I want everybody from every walk of life, and I'm going to give them the benefit to share their story and to have a place to where they don't have to fear being attacked and interrupted. I mean, for an example, transgender. I don't have anybody in my immediate family that's transgender, so I don't understand it as well as some other people do. It does not necessarily mean I'm against it. At the end of the day, I think it's foolish for me to tell somebody what they can or can't do if it does not impact me. But that's the key word, does not impact me. If you want to be gay, be gay. If you want to be trans, be trans. If you want to be straight, be straight. Whatever it is you want to be. What you should not be is a forceful bit. That means you should not try to force your views on other people. If you want to educate somebody, if they're curious, by all means do so. But it's not right for anybody to say, oh, this is the only way that things should be in life, because you're going to continue to cause that division. Let people be what they want to be, man. That's my opinion. Live and let live. It's not a huge thing. Once you start trying to force some propaganda on me, or you try to make me go along with some kind of woke culture, that's when I'm going to speak up, and that's when I'm going to have some issues with it. Other than that, though, I have personally no problem with anybody based off their sexual preference. It means nothing to me. I'm going to like you as a person, or I'm going to hate you as a person. It's not based off of your color. And I think that more people need to be more intelligent when they do that. You know, there could be, in my personal job, I work with every culture. Literally, there is every culture there. I get along with everybody, but I'm the kind of a personality to where I don't have an issue getting along with people. I'm fucked up, I'm jacked up, I'm goofy, but I have fun. And as long as people treat me with respect as a human, I have no problem giving that back whatsoever. The problem is most people don't see it like that. Oh, you're different. The world would be better if we were alike. So you need to go away. You need to silence yourself. Unless you feel what I feel, you're not important. You know, where the fuck did we get this mindset from? The woke movement is nothing but a cancer to this country. You know, I'm proud of you for wanting to stand up for black rights. I'm very proud of everybody for culturally supporting something that they can't understand perfectly. That's a beautiful thing, and I'm not going to ever say that it's not. What's not beautiful is how you go about it. What's not beautiful is trying to stop every other way of life because it may not see eye to eye with what you agree with. We all have to share love, not hate, guys. Love and not hate. Is the more we hate, the more division. The more division, we can't work together. If we can't work together, we're never going to solve the issues. We're always going to be divided, especially this last presidential election, since we're talking about that. Look down the middle, man. I mean, it is close. This country is hard divided. And the problem is a lot of woke stuff, a lot of intolerance, a lot of media. People, you guys need to turn off that fucking TV. Turn off CNN, turn off NBC, quit listening to all of it, because all they want to do is push their objectives, and they're going to say the same thing over and over and over until people start believing it and listening to it. And I mean, that's just going to continue to cause us the issues. I don't know what else I can really say to that. That's facts. There's always going to be a problem because they continue to make a problem. If you turn off your TV, all the worries go away. The world still turns. You know, I haven't watched probably the news other than getting interested for the podcast to get some information for upcoming shows. You know, I don't watch it religiously by any means. I hardly ever watch it at all. And that's because there's just so much false information out there. You are way better off to hit alternative media. Go on YouTube, find a couple of people who are, you know, who have a good following. Go through and check out, listen to one of their episodes, go through and research everything they're talking about, and really just keep an open mind. And I think that you'll understand you're going to get real information better than you will on the TV. So, guys, we are at the end of this episode. No hate, just love all across. There's going to be a lot of hate come my way, and I'm ready for it. There's also a lot of love, and the love is back for you guys as well. It's a crazy hard world we live in right now. A lot of misunderstandings, a lot of unhappiness, a lot of, you know, just fuckery. We all have to find a way to come back together. So that's what I'm going to leave you guys with. If you want to reach out to me, you can feel free to. There should be multiple ways on Instagram. It'll be the Goat Man Show. You can search ChrisDaGoat on YouTube. YouTube has a weird channel name, so I can't just give one. Very, very, you know, I don't know what it is. It's all fancy and mumbo jumbo alien talk bullshit. And then, of course, anchor.fm/The Goat Man Show. This is probably the key that most of you are going to use. You will have the ability, as well as in the description of the podcast from Anchor, you will have the ability to come back to the webpage and leave me a voice message. Support, hate, ideas, topics, whatever it is. If you do send me a message, understand that I do have the right to use it. I can't guarantee I will or won't. It all depends on what content the next episode has, where we go with it. If anybody, you know, has anything significant they want to say, I mean, if you cannot find any truth to what I'm saying, please let me know. You know, likewise, if you find a lot of truth in what I'm saying, go on there and let me know. If you know anybody that's interested in coming on for a 20-minute, 40-minute, or hour-long segment, let me know. We can knock it out, guys. I mean, I would love nothing more than to get to know new people and to discuss with them and talk with them and just give them that open forum again to where they can come in and listen to me and me listen to them and them give their story to hopefully where people listen. The last thing I want to leave you guys with is please get in contact if there's anything that you want. I want that. I want to hear from the community, but also what I want you to do more than not is chill the hate, please. Calm it down just long enough to where you can do research and understand what's going on. The woke movement is not out of love. The woke movement is out of hate. It's out of Nazism. You're calling somebody a Nazi, but you're doing the exact same things. Most people go to work, come home, support, they voted, and they're not out trying to cause any issues. We all need to get behind a way that we can all support one another in a way that's effective, loud, and inclusive for everybody. You have to stop excluding white people. I mean, all races are the same importance. If we're gonna do it one way, we're doing it another. Stop tearing down statues. Put them in museums so they can still be education on the past. If you eliminate the past, it's not going to fix the present. It's not going to fix the future. The past will repeat itself. Germany has so many Holocaust museums still. And yes, I'm sure it hurts people because I'm sure they lost their families in it. But the way they understand it is if you see what happens and you understand the atrocities the past has held, you will understand why we can never let it happen again. All right, guys, much love and respect to everybody. I'm going to tune out for today. It's bedtime. Enjoy. Do whatever you guys got to do. Reach out to me if you get the chance. If you liked the content or hated it, share it. Let it be spread and known. In the meantime, guys, have a good day. Do what you do. Goat Man, going out.
That's all, folks. Thanks for listening to The Goat Man Show with ChrisDaGoat. Subscribe and leave a review if you'd be so inclined. Until next time. ChrisDaGoat, he has a podcast, yeah. ChrisDaGoat, it's called The Goat Man Show. He's a Capricorn hippie, banjo-loving hillbilly. He lives in Missouri. It's the